The Middle East could be one of the richest and most prosperous regions of the modern world. The subsoils of this land are literally seething with an overabundance of oil and gas. But at the same time, on a small, in comparison with the scale of the planet Earth, the territory is home to a huge number of ethnic and religious groups. And these wells of cultures and resources is the foundation of internal discord in the Middle East, which has no end in sight. Mild and favorable climate for tourism and agriculture, the territory of the intersection of ancient cultures and civilizations, beautiful nature and subsoils rich in minerals. It's Lebanon. Yes, this small state could prosper today, if not for internal conflicts and its location in the hottest point of the modern world. Lebanon was under French rule until it gained its independence in 1943. In the same year, the country adopted a national pact and unwritten agreement, which laid down the principle of confessionalism in the state structure. This agreement, which is still in force today, is a kind of compromise between the Muslims and Christian communities of the country. For example, only Maronite or Christian can become a president. The post of Prime Minister was given to Sunni Muslims, and the post of Chairman of the Parliament was firmly assigned to Shiite Muslims. In addition, clearly was divided parliamentary mandates, the ratio of 6.5 between Christians and Muslims. It would seem that the scheme is clear and working. But all these groups had not just different views on life and religion, but focused on completely different countries in foreign policy. So Christians were in good relation with the West, and Shia Muslims were drawn to Iran. To all this, in 1948, in the life of independent Lebanon, intervened evil fate called Arab-Israeli conflict. In 1948, Israel gained independence, and this event, with incredible force, ignited a long-smoldering Arab-Israel question. The League of Arab States, which included Syria, Egypt, Lebanon, Iraq, and Transjordania, attacked the young state. The war began. However, Lebanon was not a key player in this armed conflict, and after the first reconciliation and defined a clear border with Israel and tried to adhere to neutrality. But as a result, a flood of Palestinian refugees poured into Lebanon. On the one hand, Palestinian guerrillas carried out regular attacks against Israel, to which they had to respond. The Palestinians didn't want to abide by the laws of Lebanon and, in fact, created their own state in a state. As well, a large number of Palestinians have led to the rapid growth of the Muslim population of Lebanon. The confessional system has failed. The internecine conflict that developed into a civil war. It lasted for 15 years. During this time, more than 100,000 people died. There were many victims. During this conflict, in 1982, the Shiite Islamic organization Hezbollah emerged in Lebanon. Its original purpose was military resistance to Israel. In parallel, the organization announced its intention to establish a critical Islamic state in Lebanon in the likeness of Iran. The leaders rejected any compromise with Christians, Israel, and the United States. The Tehran actively supports and finances Hezbollah. Many experts believe that Iran has created this Islamic organization, which is recognized by Europe, the West, and many Arab countries as a terrorist group, on an equal footing with ISIS or Al-Qaeda. At the same time, Hezbollah declared itself not only as an anti-Zionist terrorist organization, it became a major political player in the Middle East. In the last parliamentary elections in Lebanon in May 2018, Hezbollah won and got more than half of the seats. How did the terrorist organization manage to win over the population of Lebanon? The Shiite group spends large sums on the social needs of the population, then bribes people. The organization has invested in the improvement of public utilities in Thomson, Lebanon, created new jobs for the local population. Lebanese terrorists have founded the hospital and charity funds, and its militants receive at least $1,000 a month, the nice money for living in the Middle East. Thus, Hezbollah seeks to appear both inside and outside the country as a reasonable political force, making everything possible to strengthen and prosper the Lebanese state. The game of respectability is nothing more than an attempt to disguise the true goals of the Islamists. At the same time, Hezbollah accounts for a huge number of bloody terrorist attacks and ruined lives in Israel, Azerbaijan, Switzerland, Thailand, Argentina, Europe, the United States, and in Lebanon. Terrorists have repeatedly seized civilian aircraft, cars with foreign diplomats, attacked embassies, and abducted civilians. One of Hezbollah's most infamous crimes was the killing of Lebanese Prime Minister Rafik Hariri in 2005. Hezbollah is also involved in the massacres committed by the regime of Syrian President Bashar al-Assad against its citizens. The terrorists help in the training of militants of the Syrian Alevites and send their own activists and soldiers to participate in fights in Syria. Iran and Hezbollah support the dictatorial regime of Assad, perceiving it an important spot in their radical lines. And according to some analysts, Hezbollah is more interested in the war itself than in the common world, fulfilling the task set by Tehran. The terrorist organization is strengthening its military infrastructure on the Syrian-Lebanese border, creating a foothold in the event of possible new serious conflict with Israel. In other words, the Hezbollah and its patron Iran in the strategic plan, rather interested in the Lebanization of the Syrian conflict and the relative weakness of Assad than a single strong post-war Syria. However, peace in Syria, Lebanon, Iran, and in the region as a whole is still far away. While they are to operate with the impunity terrorist organization, and their representatives will occupy seats in the government, and such mere political players as, for example, Russia, will not recognize them as terrorists. There will be no truth in the Middle East.